on 19 January 2024, there was a major legislation which got passed in Germany, which essentially approved all of the things that you've been hearing about previously. That is, like, you're now going to get the citizenship in 5 years instead of the 8 years which was previously, and in some cases even just after living in Germany for 3 years. These are very interesting things, and there are a few more parts to it. I'm going to take you through the parts, and what I want to do in this video is essentially show you one of the German government websites which essentially states what are the specific requirements for citizenship. So we'll go through that page one by one so that you can very clearly understand when you are going to be in that process, what are going to be the requirements. And this is also going to be a very interesting video for maybe parents who are planning to move to Germany and they have like smaller children and so on. I think that could be interesting, or like, just normal like married couples, they're moving to Germany and they are planning to have children sometime. Germany essentially has made the citizenship process super easy, and it's more or less like a free-for-all if you end up coming to Germany at this time. So let me take you to the first page. So it is from Deutsche Welle. You can see the article directly, which states that Germany has decided to make dual citizenship easier, as well as naturalization for non-EU citizens. Naturalization is essentially like you becoming the citizen of a country, and you are doing that by naturalization and not by birth. So that's the difference. So here they're mentioning 4 main points. You can see the first one is immigrants legally living in Germany will be allowed to apply for citizenship after 5 years rather than the current 8 years. If they bring special achievements to the table, this may be reduced to just 3 years. What are special achievements? Like, special achievements are generally like you having a university degree, you having very good German proficiency. These are the things which are counted as very good special achievements. So that's the main thing, because even with German proficiency, like B1 is not really considered equivalent to having studied somewhere in a German taught program or something, right? Like B1 is still like basic when you compare it to the overall structure of the language, because I already shared with you this video previously that at A1 you consider 500 words, A2 is 1000 words, B2 is 2000 words, then B1 is 2000 words, then afterwards B2 4000, C1 8000, and like C2 generally goes towards 16,000. So 16,000 versus 2,000 words, like you see the massive difference that there generally is. That's why you should not really treat the language levels as linear. Every single language level essentially like doubles the number of words that you are learning, and that is something that you can also like read online. Children born in Germany of at least one parent who has been living in Germany living legally in the country for 5 or more years will automatically get German citizenship. Now think about this. You are an Indian, I don't know, couple, and you plan to have children, and you've already been living in Germany for 5 years or something. Like, your child will already have German citizenship. This is very nice because this didn't used to be there. So like, this is going to be a very easy way for you to like get a second passport. Unfortunately not on the Indian side, because I think the Indian side still does not allow you to have the dual nationality. Germany has allowed it now. Then afterwards I will take you to the Berlin. This is a service portal Berlin website, and this essentially is every single time you have to do a city registration, you have to apply for your residence permit, you have to extend your residence permit. All of the things for the people who are living in Berlin happen here. The same is true if you're doing something in Hamburg, Munich. All of them have their own website, so you can like do all of these things there. So here, let me show you again like what are the stories, and this can get a little bit longer, but keep in mind that this is an important document, so like you cannot really just skip through things really quickly. So we have to essentially go through this. First, they're talking about the process, like how the process is going to look like. We are going to skip that because we are going to talk about the requirements. Requirements is that, first of all, you have your main place of residence in Berlin, and Sie leben schon längere Zeit in Deutschland. So you're already living for a longer time in Germany without any kind of break during the period. So like, it's not like you're living for 5 years and all of a sudden like 1.5 years, 1 year you're living somewhere else. Break, they generally mean for a duration of more than 183 days in a calendar year. So this is something you have to keep in mind. 7 years with with finished integration course. Again, not relevant for you. This is students have a completely different requirement. Now look at this one. 6 years with German proficiency of B2 level. Now, these are still the requirements that you're seeing of the previous requirements when it was like 8 years, right? Like you can directly see here in the 8 year section. So that's all of that is going to change, but the things which makes it easier for people, the characteristics which makes it easier for people is going to stay the same. For example, if it's new is 5 years, and the further requirement to make it 3 years is going to be again like B2 or something, right? So B2 and like some university degree, all of these things. So everything that you're following here essentially is going to be relevant for you in the new one too. Your identity and nationality has to be clarified, so it is clear. Um, you have a passport or you have an ID card. Reiseausweis, again, these are things that you shouldn't don't need to know about. Like this is generally for refugees. Sie bekennen sich zum Grundgesetz, so you know the Constitution. Sie haben einen der folgenden Aufenthaltstitel, so you have one of the following: a residence permit, you have a permanent residency, or you have some other residence permit or a blue card. Then is the next requirement that you are not taking any kind of government support. That's extremely important. So this is generally given from Job Center, Sozialamt, Bürgergeld oder Sozialhilfe. Job Center is essentially when you are no longer having a job, you can go to the Job Center and they can give you some support. But they will also force you to go to specific job interviews. If you don't go for those job interviews, then the support is going to get taken away for 2 months or something. That's like how the rules have changed now. But otherwise, like you get supported for like your job search and things like that. But that is again, as far as I understand, this is when you are already a German national, and this is not really given to people who are foreigners. But from this website, it looks like it is indeed given to people who are foreigners, which doesn't really make sense to me at all. Anyways, we can leave this discussion for some other time. Next requirement is that you haven't made any kind of criminal activities. So any kind of police record is not there, and there is no open investigation going on with you. So, and there's also, sie wurden nicht zu Geldstrafen über 90 Tage setzen. So, further details. Essentially, like, don't do anything which puts you in problematic stuff in Germany. You speak German, you have a German language proficiency of B1. So if it is B1, then it is the standard 8 years requirement. If it's B2, then all of a sudden it's 6 years requirement. Other is not really interesting. And then they have talked about the documents required, which are also like, very simple things, which are essentially going from the same requirements part that we have spoken about. Here for people, it is going to be necessary to also have the income tax returns for people who are employees and for people who already have their own companies or who are freelancers. For them, it's a Nettogewinnermittlung. This is very easy thing. Essentially just an Excel sheet, and this is made in this case by the tax consultant, and it's going to simply have the total number of revenue you generated, the expenses you had, and the profit or loss you had in the end. And that's important. Then afterwards, some other things about health insurance, that you have health insurance, and language certificate. How much are you Mietvertrag, so your rental contract, and so on. But like these are like all very basic things. I know this because I've gone through the process. It's really not dramatic at all. Like very basic things that you can find always. One thing here maybe could be a bit interesting is going to be about your social number, Sozialversicherungsnummer, but that is something that you have to then get once by calling the Deutsche Rentenversicherung. They will give you the Sozialversicherung number. So that's that. Now, what is the cost for citizenship application? The cost for citizenship application is 255 euros. And here you can see different kind of things. People telling you like, yeah, this is going to take 1 year, 2 years, things like that. I don't know the story now, but for me, the citizenship process took around 6 months. I think I applied in May, and it almost came in end of November, no, end of December maybe. So like, 7 months. So that's how long it took, and that was during the COVID times in 2019. So essentially not yet the COVID times. Yeah. But it did not take that long. When you're in the process, it does not feel like, it's getting stretched for too long. And also, clearly remember that once I got the citizenship certificate, I had to first go to the Indian embassy. I had to give up my Indian passport, and this was a requirement for Germany. Now, with the new changes, this is no longer going to be the requirement for Germany, but you still have to get it done because India does not allow you to have German passport and Indian passport. So there you have to still give up the Indian passport by going to the embassy consulate and filling out a form, writing an application, and then they're going to like cut the bottom of the passport. So essentially it is invalid. So that's how it is. If you have any kind of questions regarding this, or if you have any other questions regarding other topics, you can let me know. And this essentially covered everything that you needed to know about the citizenship process in Germany, what has changed on 19th January 2024, and how you can expect things to proceed in the future. That's it. I will see you in the next video.